One of the things we learn, even in relationships, you don't jump in too fast, right? It's just like when you're dating somebody, you don't just go fall in love and just tell them everything right away. You build trust should be earned. And I feel like access to me should be earned as well. Like you set time with that. And so as we begin to spend time together and talk to each other, it's like, okay, I can give her a little more now because she's earning that side of me. Yeah. You don't just get to have all of me just because we're friends today. No, you have to earn that. It's a slow progress. I feel like when we approach the relationship that way, that helped.
This is the moment you've been waiting for. Everything that you've been praying for. You fell alone. You're gonna heal and come back strong. I know what you got. God got you. Your girls, we're with you. This is your battle.
It's about to be Girl Talk Central up in here. These two ladies have created a lane all their own. Living, lifing, loving, table talk is all the rage, and you've got to tune in. This is about to be my favorite podcast episode ever. Welcome to the Back Sis couch, Shameka Daniels and Leticia Gardner. Y'all are so beautiful, but y'all knew that was right. Is that all right?
Yes, 100%. It is. You could.
So, I got a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about. Okay. And I'm going to jump right in if that's okay.
Okay, that's good.
What issues plague women from 18 to 35?
What issues?
What issues did we have from 18 to 35?
What issues plague women from ages 18 to 35?
So I would first say image, insecurity, body weight. Just right now with society, I feel like women want to look a certain way or they feel like they have to be a certain way. Mm-hmm. They're being talked about on all these podcasts. Now we're listening to the different guys and they're saying what we should do, what we shouldn't do. So I think it just makes women so insecure. Mm-hmm. And I would definitely say just all the way around is something about our bodies and who we are. We're not good enough or what we have to be.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I have an 18-year-old daughter and I think identity is key. I see the changes and stuff and the pressure with today's society because of social media and stuff like that. So I think that plays a big part. So I agree.
Yeah. And when we talk about social media, what do mothers see social media as? What does that mean in 2023?
Yeah. So we kind of talked about this a little. I have two sons. So I have one that's about to be 22 and I have a 16-year-old. Mm-hmm. So now I'm looking at social media as a mother for my boys. Mm-hmm. So we had this whole thing where we were watching, I think it was a video that went viral and it's all about these women who want to be kept and they want people to take care of them. And I'm just like, first off, I got a 22-year-old and I'm grooming him and I'm like, hey, let me find you somebody good. Let me help you.
How old did you say?
He's 22.
22.
But I don't want him to have a woman that says she want to be kept.
Okay.
I'm like, I need someone who says, I will get in the mud with you. We can build something together. Not, I need you to have it already and take care of me. I have a problem with that. And I feel like social media is portraying that. So I'm talking to my goddaughter. We're talking to her daughter. And I'm like, why do you all feel like you can be with a man why do you feel like you have to be with a man that already has it? Why can't you get with someone like we did back in the day? I dated my husband when I was in college. I'm like, we grind together and built something. Yeah. I didn't go find a man that already had money and say, hey, take care of me.
How do you substantiate that as a Christian?
Oh, well, that's a good one. I think I do look at it from both ends. I look at it from what the world says and I look at it from what the Bible says. And so nowhere in the Bible does it say, hey, a man has to take care of a woman. It talks about how you're supposed to love each other, how you're supposed to meet each other's needs. So I'm like, I don't know if I would necessarily say Christians, it is a one way to do things. I do think that a man is the leader of your home when he's submitted to God, right? Yeah. He's the leader of your home. But I don't think that has anything to do with what he has coming in or what he's to do for you in that way. I feel like whatever you both bring to the table, then you complement each other with it.
Whatever you both bring to the table, you complement each other.
Yeah. Absolutely. When I met my husband, we were in college and we grew up two different lifestyles. My parents were older. They were well off. My husband grew up in a family. It wasn't the same. It was from a rural area. And so I came to the table at that time with something. I was an engineer working at the Space Center. And then once we got married and his career popped off, he became the breadwinner. So I'm like, if I would have looked at it in a way to say, okay, he didn't have what I had, then I might have missed out on something. Definitely. So that's the way I look at it.
If he didn't have what I have, I might have missed out on something.
Yeah. So I looked at him as an investment. Now, there are some things that I believe in. I do believe you have to date people for your potential. Look at their potential. So he might not have had then, but I knew that he had the potential to have because of his drivenness, because I knew that he was a go-getter. So if I'm looking at social media today, I'm telling my son, look at somebody that has potential. Look at someone who can go and help you build something.
Someone with vision.
Yeah. And then you have a daughter.
Yeah. So for me, we've been in social media for a while now, and I've always taught my daughters that social media is not your social life. Like it's business.
Right.
It's lucrative if you do it right, and you should brand yourself. I think you should be your authentic self, but I think that you can't get caught up in the comments. You can't get caught up in everything that you see or the trends. I think even being Christian based, I've always been strict on your location or don't do no twerking videos. We ain't doing no cursing in these sounds and clean versions of the music and stuff like that. But I think branding yourself, I think social media is great. It's a great tool for life to have today, but it says a lot about who you are. So how you represent yourself for your future goals, I think is important there. So that's the way we've taught social media in our house. But I do think, and the crazy part is my daughter's been on social media probably since about 14, but it's only been connected to my page. So she didn't have full access to her social media until she was 18. So now that she can post things, but I'm just careful with, like I said, I think identity is key, watching things and thinking you have to look a certain type of way or be a certain type of way. There's so many scams and stuff out there. So I'm trying to teach her the back end of it. Right. Don't get caught up what people have to say, because it doesn't matter how positive you are. People are going to be negative. So my thing is always just teaching her, know who you are, and your validation comes from God and not comments or people, not the likes and the view counts and stuff like that. So I teach her that way from social media and dating. Oh Lord, on social media. I think one everybody in your DM.
What I look at is, because when I met, I knew Leticia. I had been following her for years because she's a social media influencer. So when I looked at her social media, yes, she does fitness, but I'm looking at, she's all about marriage. And so I've been watching her for years. Yeah. And I think when we connected, one of the things I told her is, I said, okay, we're going to be doing stuff together, but I'm like, there's a message I want to send. So I don't care about followers and all of that. I know that's important these days. But at the same time, I told her, if we're going to build something, I want to make sure that I'm still portraying a message. 100%. Because on social, so fast, people can just take you and look at you in a different way. So to me, it's not about being cute. I'm like, I'm not posting all the pictures where I'm doing all these spinning and all of that. That's cool. That's not me, though. And I told her, I said, you can do that, but I have a message I want to send. I want to make sure I'm empowering women. I'm encouraging them. And so even as a mom, as I'm talking to my sons, I'm like, what message are you sending? I'm constantly saying that.
What does accountability look like in your friendship?
What is accountability? Well, I definitely run most of our social medias.
No, but she said in our friendship, though.
What does define accountability?
Yeah. So for me, accountability, when we've been talking about this friendship thing, because we're new at this friendship thing. We've met, been hanging out. And so one of the things I first told her is, for me, I needed to set expectations, what I expect in the relationship. 100%. So I need somebody that's going to be honest with me. I need someone who's going to be loyal no matter what. And then from there, it's like accountability. So I say, okay, I need you to call me to the carpet. Like, don't let me be out here looking crazy. Tell me the truth. But I asked her, I said, do you have a problem with me speaking truth? Because I feel like I've had relationships before where you say you're my friend, but then you don't want to know the truth. And I told her, I need you to tell me truth. Can I speak truth to you?
100%.
And
let me take that in.
Yeah.
I need to be able to take in the truth.
Yeah. Because it's one thing for somebody to say, I want you to be honest. But then the moment that I'm honest with you, how do you feel about it? Are you offended? So I'm like, I'm not your friend.
Right away?
I need to know that.
Right away?
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to know that. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
And we had the conversation because I'm like, I can't go into this relationship. Tell me up front. Do you not want to know? Do I need to hold my words? And she was like, no, tell me.
I want to know it
Now
all.
I'm like, speak the truth in love, of course.
100%. Delivery is key.
Right.
Don't be mean to me. Don't yell at me.
Yeah.
But definitely honesty and loyalty. We both definitely agreed on that. And even marriage-wise, she's been married longer than me. So accountability looks like, hey, if I'm having an issue or if I'm venting, I need honest feedback. I need a safe place to be able to say it. But I also need a wise counsel to say, okay, sis, you wrong. Check me too. Yeah. Or, hey, check that. So accountability, I think, is making for me, it's full circle, right? I can come to her about my kids. I can come to her about my marriage. I can come to her about business in a sense where we are, because that's what I think friendship should be. Like, I could do life with you in a sense that if I need to be checked, I can be, and vice versa. So.
But it's allowing the person to be transparent, being your vulnerable self. So we may vent We may say things, and then we can come back and say, okay, now, how do you really handle this?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we say. You're going to live life.
100%.
Life, you're going to have feelings, but what are you going to do with it? Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to act? So we hold each other accountable by making sure you don't actually act on some of the things you're feeling, but you act
So
the
what
right
I'm
way.
hearing is watch, say, wait.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So you watch your friend.
Yeah.
Then you're brave enough to say something
Right.
to your friend.
Mhm.
And then you walk with them and then wait with
That's
your
right.
friend.
100%.
Got it.
That's right.
That's good. Yeah, and one thing I even tell my daughters and everything too, like when it comes to emotions, like it's okay to have them. We just can't
Yes.
be led by them.
Yeah.
So I think that's important even in friendships too.
Yeah. And
Talk
there was
to
a
me
book
about
we were reading.
emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. So there's a book we were reading about boundaries.
Mhm.
And one of the things the lady says that feelings are indicators, not dictators. So you're going to feel a lot of things. Women are emotional, depending on what's happening, what time of the month. If you hadn't been through your own emotional healing journey, some people don't have the emotional IQ. So whatever you're feeling, people tend to act on those. And so
Yeah.
for us, it's like, process it, feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Okay, but now what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In a healthy sense.
right.
Right. Because a lot of times, whether we have trauma or triggers or anything that's
Mhm.
unhealed, a lot of times in relationships, when you're close to somebody, certain events can
Yeah.
show you where you haven't healed at. Right.
Right.
So being able to say, okay, that trigger is something I need to work on. There's
Right.
something that's bothering me there. I need to go deeper with myself to heal from that instead of just reacting from that
Yeah.
based off of trauma. Like back in the day, I couldn't, like, if I was offended or bothered, sometimes I would just walk away without saying anything. But I've learned that just comes from rejection issues, being too scared to speak up because I
Right.
feel like they're just going to reject me. So maybe it's easier if I just leave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't say anything and I feel like I'm saving myself, but that's not emotional maturity.
Right.
And there's still healing that needs to be there. So I think recognizing those things within our own emotions and triggers are
Yeah.
key to having healthy friendships and relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did y'all meet?
We actually, so our husbands actually
Right.
met
They
first.
met first. Uh-huh.
And then
We
they were
wound up.
hosting, the Change Church was hosting a couples escape.
Yeah.
And they asked us to speak on it.
So we were all on that panel
Yeah,
together.
so we were
Yeah.
on a panel together. And I think we literally hit it off on stage.
We did. We
Yeah.
connected, and then off stage, we was like, okay, we got to connect. And so
Yeah.
we started working out together and hanging out. And then I was like, hey, I had this podcast. I wanted to do something.
Yeah.
I'm like, come do it with me. This will be great. And we just
Yeah.
kind of connected from there.
Yeah,
So
seriously, yeah.
we're together all the time.
All the time.
we hang
We've
out all
been
the
stuck
time.
like glue since.
Yeah, that's how it comes off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, it's like, because one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to say it this way, people are jealous of your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
It's not my business.
See, she would say that, and I would say I could see that because as women, I mean, I'm in my 40s, you're late 30s. People want to have real relationships.
Yeah.
In college, I had relationships, but when you get older, like you want real relationships that are going to last.
100%.
And I've had people to come in and out of my life for different reasons. So I could see people being jealous and saying, hey, why couldn't I have that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, you probably couldn't have it because maybe I wasn't emotionally ready. I know I had to learn to be a friend, but then also, do you know how to receive friendship? So I
Yeah.
think really God has been teaching me like how to love others, how to be a friend, but then also how to receive, how to have that
Yeah.
reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
Let me take that in.
Mhm.
I need to be able to receive friendship.
Right. Mm-hmm.
What's friendship?
So I think friendship, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's the honesty part. It's someone loving you, helping you, but then also you doing the same thing, vice versa, loving them, helping them. When they're down, you're not kicking them, you're helping build them up. When they're in a bad place, you're providing comfort. You're present with them. So I don't know if I always provided that. Maybe there are parts of me that I gave people and other parts I didn't. And so now I'm in the season, I went through my own emotional journey, healing journey. And this is something we're big on now. She's going to be doing the same thing. But when I went to that healing journey, I learned there were so many things about Shameka that I didn't know. Maybe I had a wall up because somebody hurt me in the past and I didn't open my heart up to people like I should. So once I went through that healing journey, I'm like, all right, I know who Shameka is and I know what I need in relationships and I know what I can give.
Yeah.
And so from there, that's why I'm big on expectations. I'm like, going into anything else, I'm going to tell you, this is what I can do and this is what I'm willing to do. And for somebody who's willing to receive that, then we can do what we need to do.
Yeah.
This is what I can do. This is what I'm willing to do.
Right.
I have this ability, but doing it is a choice.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
You walk into relationships like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you go in with boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
And I see friendship as a safe place.
Yeah.
A safe place, but I also see it as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you nurture and you invest in the people that you value in your life and stuff like that. So I
Right.
think when you're intentional with people that God has given you, that's a blessing.
It is.
It's rare to find
Right.
people that you click with, that you can be your authentic self with.
Right.
You know, you can be fully transparent and you feel safe. You know, so I'm an open book, but that doesn't mean every place that I'm speaking in is a safe place.
Right.
You know, so when you have that in friendship, that's truly a gift. That's how I see it.
I'm an open book, but not every place I go to is a safe place.
Yeah.
Whew.
So one of the first
Bars.
things we did, we were reading a book on boundaries, and I had already read it, and so I'm like, hey, you should read this book, because one of the things we learned, even in relationships, you don't jump in too fast, right? It's just like when you're dating somebody, you don't just go fall in love and just tell them everything right away.
Or
You
shouldn't.
build trust should be earned, and I feel like access to me should be earned as well. Like you set time with that, and so as we begin to spend time together and talk to each other, it's like, okay, I can give her a little more now because she's earning that side of me.
Yeah.
You don't just get to have all of me just because we're friends today. No, you have to earn that. It's a slow progress, slow process.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we approach the relationship that way, that helped.
All of my friends go to Change Church.
Really?
Oh,
My guitarist plays for you guys.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we are obsessed
it's so good.
with the movement. With it makes people feel safe to be saved.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing
I love that.
from my friends.
I love that.
Saved is an unsafe place if it feels judgmental.
Right.
In this new era.
Yes. Absolutely.
Judgmental used to be the trend.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Right.
2023, we have to explain the hierarchy of judgment.
Right.
We have to explain when it's okay to tell somebody they're wrong.
Yes.
When it's okay to show somebody, hey, the word says this, but you're doing that.
Right.
Because we don't
Correction.
say that to everybody.
Absolutely.
Because we shouldn't.
Yes.
Right? Because
Right.
maybe they can't grasp it. How do we talk to young people about when to judge?
So I'm big on teaching what judgment is first. I think when I learned that judgment is actually looking at somebody else, and it's like, I don't even know how to explain it the way that I learned from it, but I feel like it's casting your judgment on somebody, like feeling like making them seem like they're lower than you or they're not doing what they need to do. So I'm like, I'm not going to talk about you because there's things I need to work on. So what do I look like judging you when I need to be looking at what I'm doing? So it's like looking at the plank I should be taking the plank out of my eye instead of that speck in theirs. So I changed my perspective on judgment. And I was big about this. So I remember one time I was working out in the gym and there was this girl came in. She had like a little tank top on. I mean, she didn't have no clothes on. I'm just going to tell you. And I'm like, how's
Like a
she going to
tank
come up in
top.
here
That's
looking like
nothing.
this around these men?
Butt naked.
Right. And so I had to like self-correct in the moment. And I said, Shameka, that's being judgy. I'm like, I don't know this young lady. I don't know what it is. Maybe she feels like she needs to do that because she wants attention. Or maybe she doesn't know any better. And so in that moment, I'm like, I'm going to stop doing that. When I look at a young lady, I'm like, man, she maybe needs something. She needs to learn something. Or maybe I'm here to help her. I'm not going to judge her because she might not know. Or she may know. But that's not my business. So now I look at it totally different. Whereas before I would say something.
You
Like,
would
why
say
you coming
to
in
a
here looking
stranger?
like, no, I wouldn't tell her that. But I would probably look around and be like, why is she coming in here looking like a thought? But now I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that. I'm like, she doesn't know. Or maybe she thinks that's the way she's supposed to catch somebody. So I've changed my perspective.
You'll definitely catch a couple eyes. No, I believe in biblical correction, but
Yeah.
I believe it should be led by the Holy Spirit. You know, not everyone that may need that can receive that. And it may not need to come from you in a sense. So I definitely believe in praying for people. But the way I've lived my life, I ain't got no place to judge nobody. I'm just thankful for grace.
So with our
Talk to
kids,
me about that. The way
Yeah.
I live my life, I shouldn't judge anybody.
Well, just even where I've come from in the growth, you know, I was saved later in life. My husband and I got saved together. So the things I've done and things in my past, you know, I'm only here because God's grace and his glory. So for me, I can look at anyone in any situation and even some of these girls and relate where it
Right.
can come from, or so I can have a soft spot for it. It's not and I believe in seasons. I think everyone has to have growth, so it doesn't matter how different we are or different places we are spiritually. You know, I know that God can use anyone. So for me, judging and condemning is just not even it's not even in my nature.
Are those the same thing, judgment and condemnation?
I think judgment, condemning comes with it in a sense, only because if you're judging them in a negative way, that you're condemning them in a sense. Like if, I don't know how to put it together. It's kind of, if I'm over here like, what you got on? Like,
Right.
wait, it's 'cause guarding your gates is one thing. I
Right.
do believe that there's certain people, certain places, and different things that I just don't need to go to because of the walk that I'm on. Now, I'm not going to condemn you, but I'm a guard, and I'm not judging you personally because your walk is different, but I can't go with you there. So I believe in guarding your gates in a sense that I might like you, you might be cool as heck, but we can't rock like that.
Yeah.
Because that ain't the walk I'm on.
But I think it is a little, I think you do condemn people when you judge. So I think about judgment is not just when we see people. We make vows of certain things. So maybe you were raised by a mother and you say, I'll never be that way. I'll never treat my kids like my mother treated me. That's a form of judgment. Because now you're condemning who your mother was. Where she might have done the best she could do. So even with that, I know I made vows like, I'll never do this. Or with my kids, 100%. I'm going to do it this way. And I had to learn those are judgments. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be a Christian. I'm not supposed to be doing it that way. So I had to go back and denounce those type of vows because I'm like, I will probably be that because I said I would never do that. I feel like when you judge people, then you end up being something because you've committed that vow.
And my thought, when I think about judgment, I think about whether or not I know the person.
Right.
Then I think about wonder what path they're on. And sometimes I ask, what path are you on? Right. And when I find out what path they're on, then I discover what the conversation can be.
Right.
Because in my mind, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or tell me how you feel, but in my mind, sharing light has to go into an open window.
Right. Absolutely.
So I can't be positive if the window is open if I don't ask any questions.
Right. Yes.
Right. And so my question there is, if I walk by faith and not by sight, then judgment means I'm looking at you.
Right.
Does that resonate?
Yes, absolutely. I believe it's looking at somebody. I think that you taking the time just to get to know that other person, like what walk are they walking? That's the way I look at it. Like, okay, you're walking your own walk, but what walk is she walking? And are you willing to take the time to learn to see
Wait a minute.
what she's doing?
Hold on a second. Are you willing to take the time to see what she's doing?
Absolutely.
Are you willing to take the time to see what I'm doing?
Most of us
Before
aren't.
you judge me?
But most people don't. We're so caught up in ourselves that we don't stop and take moments just to check on someone. I know people that we work around, sometimes we're working so hard, we don't stop to say, what's really happening in your life? What are you walking through right now? And so that's something I pray daily. I'm like, God, I need you to help me in that area. Like, I really want to love outwardly. I don't want to just be doing so much that I'm not taking the time just to listen. Like, listen to that moment. What's happening in her heart? What's going on?
I always say the first step to love is seeing and then listening. And I know that doesn't make sense because I said we walk by faith, not by sight.
Right.
But when we have that faith walk, then it's safe to look.
So 6 figures in a day. Yes, it's here, right? Now, this is a real live screenshot that I personally did in my account. Now, I do this live with my people meaning in my Discord that I have. And guess what? I'm not the only one making this type of money. As you see, there are people making 2, 3, 4, 500% with me, right? And what I want you to know is that this is not something that is foreign. It can be done and replicated, not just by me or a couple people who know what I know. I can teach it to you. So you want to learn what we know? You want to do what we do? I do this live. So I can't even fake it. I do it live every day that the market is open. Come join me. I got you.
It is.
Would you say so?
The faith piece is saying, I'm going to believe in something. So I believe you're going to have to see the walk because you can't walk blindly, right? So I think the faith piece is saying, I'm going to believe in something. So that's the faith piece. When you're trying to figure it out and want to keep your hands on it.
Stop. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Because I love to disagree.
The
faith piece is, what'd you say?
Believing.
Faith and believing are the same word?
Not really. No.
Help me.
Okay, so let's say you want to have this new beautiful home and you are believing God for this home, right?
Okay, because we're walking through steps.
Right.
It's safe to believe God for a new home?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because I believe God will give you the desires of your heart.
Got it.
But there's things that if you want it, then you put it out there and say, God, hey, this is something that I want. Now, if it's in his will, that's a whole nother story. But I can believe it. And I'm going to put my faith and say, all right, God, I'm going to do my part. and I'm going to believe that you can get this for me.
I think that young people are obsessed with the word will of God.
Yeah. Young people are?
I think so.
Okay.
And I think that they want to know what it is all the time.
Yes.
Because we live in such a critical world on social media that we think God is critical, like Instagram.
Oh, that's
And so
good.
I think we're always wondering what Instagram wants. And so we've programmed ourselves to wonder what people want.
Yeah.
God already knows what he wants.
He already knows what he wants.
So if I want this house, how do I know it's in the will of God? I think is the question young people are asking.
Yeah, I can see that because I can see my 22-year-old when I'm saying things, he's looking at me like, but no, this is what I want. And this is how am I going to get it? So I think they're looking at the analytical, methodical part of it where.
Analytics.
Yeah. Where I think that you have to pull back. It's like, to me, that's a part of control. That's still trying to figure out what God is going to do. That's not faith.
Help us.
Faith is casting it, saying, okay, God, I'm giving it to
Your
you.
will be
Now
done.
I'm going to believe and wait on you to do it. I'm not going to put my hand in it. I'm not going to figure it out because now, to me, it's not faith if you're trying to figure it out.
Talk to me about table talk.
Mm-hmm.
Table talk.
All right. So you want to kind of start?
So one thing about at the beginning of our friendship, we had the same vision for wanting to do something that's impactful.
Yes.
You know, ultimately, we want to leave an impact on this world in a positive way, especially with women. We're strong about our marriage and kingdom marriages and our families and just women altogether, period. But we want to be able to help them in real time. We're not looking to be trendy or controversial or be all over the place, even though it's fun.
Can I stop you? I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're so excited about what God is doing in your life.
100%.
It's so clear.
It is.
It's inspiring.
Thank you.
It is.
All right, I'm listening.
But yeah, so we are excited. It's something I've wanted to do for so long. So to be in it right now, I'm just loving it. I really am loving the process and getting it through, just seeing it actually happening in real time.
Right.
So I'm definitely just enjoying each moment of it. I love shooting. I love talking. I love leaving a positive impact and being able to help women. Because I do think that a lot of things that I've gone through or been through is to help somebody else later. And I think if I can just help one person not feel alone in their struggles or where they've come from, then I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's just so purposeful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think a year ago, God gave it to me. And I'm like, I've been helping women inside the church. So I do women's events and thousands of women are showing up. But I'm like, I want to reach women outside the church. Me and my husband are doing marketplace ministry now where we help entrepreneurs. And I'm like, I want to touch some of those women as well. So I don't want to leave the church out, but I want to touch those women. And I felt like I needed to step out. And so I had been praying about, okay, what can I do? Should I do a podcast? Should I do a table talk? But my husband's like, you do events so well. You do live events well. So I'm like, okay, how can I turn that into almost like a talk show? And then I said, I need a person. So I started thinking about everybody. People were coming to my mind and I'm like, I'm going to sit on it till the right person comes. So I already had the name Living Life and Loving because I'm like, what are women going through? How is life making them life? What are you doing with your life? Who are you supposed to be loving? How are you supposed to be loving? And so once we met, I'm like, you should come do my women's event with me. And we're going to just kind of pilot this table talk. Let's do a table talk. And we did it and we hit it off so well. And then it's like my passion and my vision for it all aligned along together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, we can do this. We can reach women even in ministry, but outside in the world as well.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about God, but I don't want to just talk about that. I want to talk about what women are dealing with. How can you live your life? God needs to be the center of your life. But how do you actually practically live it?
God needs to be the center of my life.
I believe you can't do anything without God. So he's the person that's going to give me direction. When I pray or when I need to just find my center, he is the one who's going to lead my life. So I believe in everything the Bible says, and I'm going to live my life in that way. But I know practically I need to figure out how to implement it in that way.
You're giving me patient. It sounds to me like you're patient and you will see it. And you will wait for it to happen in a person.
Yes.
That sounds like...
But I think that's the counselor in me too, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the counselor and coach in me. Yeah.
That's good.
But, and that's something that we wanted to do though, because this is the thing. I feel like we're in church, we listen to messages, but we don't know how to apply it to our lives. I feel like we take something we might have learned in church, but we're going to talk about it. So dating, how do you practically do it as a Christian? Like, what does that look like? And we talk about parenting and so many other things, and marriage, and when we're not happy with our spouses, how are you supposed to respond? Because all of those things are going to happen. So the scriptures say, and we're Christian, but like, what do you do with that? So that's what this table talk is all about. We're helping women live their lives practically.
And in real time too, because even though our God is the center for everything, like I said, I got saved later. So the peace I didn't have before God got here, I'm never going back to that. So I live a fasting lifestyle. Like it's a regular thing for me, for vision, for clarity, for movement, for new direction. But with the table talk, it's real talk. Like God didn't change who I was. He just made me go harder for the right things now.
Right.
So I still talk. I'm from the streets. I'm going to keep it spicy. I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah.
We're going to be transparent. I'm going to say it's ghetto over here. Marriage is hard. Motherhood is going to be ghetto, depending on teenage daughter. That's hard.
Right.
You know, so I can keep it real in a sense that it's not so biblically covered, that it just sounds like it's a pretty picture on Instagram. It's like, no. It ain't always as pretty as it looks. Don't get on here thinking that you're chasing an Instagram picture because you saw a family photo. It gets real behind the scenes.
Right.
And you got to do more work before.
What's something that's happened in your life that you felt like you couldn't come back from and God has shown you otherwise?
I don't think there's been anything that I don't feel like I couldn't come back from. I've always been I'm going to get up every time I fall, no matter what kind of person. That's just who I've been from the very beginning. I think the blessing is in obedience, but I've never had the spirit to think that I couldn't get over there no matter where I started.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's good.
So,
Hold on.
yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's good.
I've never had the spirit to think I couldn't get over something. Where'd that come from?
It's just always been who I am. Honestly.
It's who I am.
It's who I am.
Can we talk about who I am?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a concept that we miss.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sometimes we try to blame everything on God.
Right. We do.
Oh, you know, because...
Yes.
Or we try to blame everything on, well, you know what I've been through, right?
Right. Yeah.
Not realizing God made us.
He made us.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfectly made.
Imperfectly, though.
Imperfectly, but he
made us perfect, but it's the imperfect part of us who we've become.
But if she was born tenacious, I think it's a gift.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If I was
everyone has the
born, if I was
ability to
born
get
a
up.
prophet,
Yeah.
I think it's a gift.
It is.
And that gift was perfect.
That's right.
Is my thought. So I'm gonna give her tenacity.
Yes.
She came here with that.
She came with it. Yes.
So then she had to have obstacles to prove that she was tenacious.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely.
Because God is sovereign. He had to get this set up. You don't get
That's
credit
right.
for the setup.
No,
Mm-mm.
it's all good.
Yeah, because
Right.
I'm saying, cause.
Right. No.
So she's, and then the gift for you is knowing it,
Yeah.
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Because you said that with so much confidence.
100%.
Yeah, because I when I fought, sis, I be getting in stilettos on the treadmill
Every time.
every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so much probably tried to get in your way because of that.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
I'm with
resilient.
you.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm a fighter.
Yeah,
Resilient.
I love it. Yeah.
So-
So sometimes who you are shows up in life.
Yes.
And then you get to claim it.
That's right. Because sometimes I think so you're born a certain way, but then there's some things that happen to you in life who make you who you are. And some things are great, some things aren't great. But I think it's what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So I know through the years, because of some of the things I've been through, it's made me resilient. So some people will say, well, that's just the way I am because that's what I've been through. So some things have made me resilient, but it doesn't mean that I'm not supposed to grow to be a better person. So I'm going to continue to grow. And the parts that
100%.
God has instilled in me, I'm going to take those pieces and I'm going to say, use me. I want to be purposeful. I want to use every gift that he's given me to his ability. And I'm going to do that.
Sure. And is there anything you ever went through that you felt like you couldn't come back from and God showed you otherwise?
I'm not going to say couldn't come back from. I think that I grew up in church. When I met my husband, he was already saying he was a preacher. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want this for my life. And so I think I did the church. I had the church face. I just kind of did my way through, and I kind of hit a rock bottom state. I want to say about 10 years ago, and I'm just like, I'm not happy. I don't like anything that's happening with me. I feel like I was a phony. I did things, I led, but I wasn't happy inside. I didn't have any peace. I was talking about God will give you joy and peace. I had none. And I feel like I was hurting people because hurt people hurt people. And so did I think I would come back from that? I don't think I did. I didn't think I would come back from it. But after I went through my own healing my healing, and I worked through forgiving myself first. And then I start working on loving others. People forgave me, and the ones who didn't, I mean, it's nothing I can do about that. But I do know I had to trust God through that. And he had to show me the people that need to be around me. He had to show me safe people and the type of people I need to be around moving forward. So I didn't think I would come back from it then, but I've come back such a better person. I have a new light. God has just done so many great things after I went through that piece.
Can I just, to my camera, there's a book called Safe People that I am obsessed with.
Henry Cloud.
The same writer of Boundaries. And there's a few Boundaries books. So if you're hearing these words and they resonate with you, pick up the book Safe People.
That's right.
It has literally changed the way I think about approaching people, how I think about doing life with people.
That's right.
And how I decide who to do life with.
Absolutely.
So many times there's information out there that were downloads.
Absolutely.
And we walk past Barnes and Nobles and we don't pick up nothing.
Nothing.
We don't pick anything up. Or we go straight to the section. Or straight to the section, not realizing that it was on somebody's heart to write down.
That's right.
How we could figure this out.
Yeah.
And so Henry Cloud is one of my favorite
I love Henry
authors
Cloud
for how to do life.
That's right. I love him because it helps you grow as a person. So I'm about spiritual growth, but I'm also about growing as a person. So I'm going to read all type of self-help books. Because I want to be the best version of myself.
We're the same in that. I'm like, what book you got? I'm about to download it right now.
I love it so much. It's so wonderful to see friendship. I think that you guys have really, really inspired so many young women, so many middle-aged women, so many women in general. The spunk that I get to see when I watch you guys in the social media space is fun and exciting and inspiring. So I'm thankful that y'all took out the time to come and sit with me today. It means so much.
Thank you.
If y'all really, really enjoyed this episode, I need y'all to say so. I need y'all to write a review and let everybody know how good of a time you had watching this. Make sure you're following them on Instagram because they are so inspiring, so much fun, and they'll give you ideas of how to do friendship, how to do life. I got one more question for you. What's it like to have a praying husband?
Ooh, honey.
Listen.
So I think I thought about this the other day when we were talking about marriage. For me, having a praying husband first means that I have a husband who loves God and I can trust the God in my husband. So in marriage, y'all, marriage is crazy. My husband just talked about it. Marriage is messy.
Get messy.
And whatever we're going through, I can trust the God.
Why would I make a mess?
No, you got to do it.
It's a beautiful thing when it's done the right way.
I would rather be married than single, but there's one thing I know for sure. I trust the God in my husband, so I'm able to love him more because I know that he's being led by God and he's going to treat me the way he's supposed to treat me.
So because he prays, you know he's led by God and you feel safe. Safe
Absolutely.
is one of your favorite spaces to be in.
It is.
100%.
I love it. I love it. And what about you?
So for me, my husband and I, we actually got saved together, which was really good. So our journey earlier on was interesting for sure because we both had a lot of healing to do and it was a new walk for both of us. So the way God convicted us though in the same alignment was just powerful because it wasn't things I had to tell him. I'm not comfortable with that. He already was led by it. So to know that he's hearing from God, if we get into any kind of argument, the first thing he do is play some God music, rebuke everything. But it does create a safe place and it is I tell my husband, like, I need Jesus because the old me, no, she's still there. We
People
don't want
be
her to come out.
Wait a second, you understand?
I don't want to go there.
Right.
I tell people, you want Leticia from Gwinnett. You do not want Chi-Chi from Jersey.
Come on.
Okay?
No.
That's the saved version.
Right.
So him being led by that and really understanding that in the household knows that I ain't following nobody leading me to destruction. You are the world or you are God. Pick a choice, but you can't have both. So my husband knows that and he honors that.
That's right.
So, and he knows it's more peaceful when he's making sure he's connected to that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's powerful. We pray every morning before we leave with the kids. So I love that the way it starts my day. It just, it feels safe. It's like, I'm not worried about what the world goes through in marriage. I say we're married, like God married, because the world's image and what you see on social media is very different than a kingdom marriage.
Right.
We're married,
so to have that, it looks different, it feels different, and it's a beautiful thing. So it feels good.
Thank y'all for your transparency
Thank
and your
you for having
vulnerability.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moment you've been waiting for.